There's no undo button once I drill this. Last time I defined the problem. I measured sag. I rode a carefully selected test route and I established that this front end isn't working as well as it should. So today I'm going to change the variables. Before I alter anything, I want one more data point. I now have a more precise way to measure sag, so let's record it properly. So from the absolute extension of the forks to just the bike supporting its own weight, the static sag comes in at 42 millimeters and the rider sag comes in at 54 millimeters. So that's only a 14 millimeter difference between static sag and rider sag. That's only slightly different from my earlier rough measurements. Now the first test ride gave me a rider's perspective, and these sag numbers now give me the hard data. And now I can start changing the system. This definitely isn't just about bolting on parts, it's about changing how the fork behaves. When you strip it back to fundamentals, there are really only four things going on. Springs hold the bike up. Damping controls the speed of movement. The preload sets the geometry. And the oil height affects the end stroke resistance. Now the stock fork on this 1990s adventure bike is a damper rod design. That means oil is forced through fixed orifices in the damper rod to create damping. It's a compromise between comfort and control. Now I'm introducing three changes: progressive fork springs, cartridge emulators and adjustable preload caps. Each one of those alters a different variable, and the key is to understand which variable each component touches. Now I didn't want to experiment on the bike because I'm not 100% confident that I'm going to be able to get it right first time. So I bought a spare pair of scrap forks. I practiced on these, my drilling technique, deburring the damper rods, cutting the spacers cleanly. This isn't rehearsal for the camera, it's rehearsal for accuracy, because it's really important that when you're working on suspension, you're accurate and you keep things really clean. Now this is the point where the theory becomes irreversible. The damper rod defines how oil moves inside the fork, and I'm about to change that. This permanently changes the damping curve. The stock holes are restrictive, and by enlarging them to 8 millimeters and adding additional ports, the rod's own damping influence is reduced. Well, why am I doing that? Because the emulator will now control compression damping. I'm removing one restriction so a more sophisticated valve can do the job. 4 to 6 holes, even spacing, clean edges. The damper rod still handles rebound damping, but the emulator allows a heavier fork oil which improves rebound control. Now the spacers on these forks need to be modified. I need to cut them down, and the reason is I'm introducing extra elements into the fork componentry. I'm adding the emulators midway down in the forks, and I'm adding adjustable fork caps which are deeper than the standard non-adjustable fork caps. So what that means is I need to cut a section out of these spacers to make sure that they're still the right length for the new componentry. So the fork caps allow me to adjust the preload. The preload doesn't change the fork behavior per se, but what it does is it changes the initial geometry of the forks. If you have too much preload, the fork will sit artificially high. If you have not enough preload, you'll lose initial support from those first few millimeters of travel. The goal isn't to make the fork stiffer, it's about making sure you've got the forks at the correct position in their travel for you and the way you ride the bike with the kit you've got on it. The oil height matters. Inside the fork, above the oil, is a column of air. As the fork compresses, that air acts like a secondary spring. If the oil is too high, the fork will ramp up too harshly. If the oil is too low, it will blow through the stroke. For this fork, I need to measure exactly 180 millimeters of air gap before we get to the oil, and it has to be measured, not guessed. I set the emulator preload to its baseline setting as per the manufacturer's instructions, in this case 2 turns. I'll install the adjustable fork caps at minimum preload, and I can fine tune later on. And for now, the system is assembled. And now that everything's back together again, I'll measure those sag measurements using the same digital tool I used before. But numbers aren't the road. The geometry is right, the damping system is different, the spring is controlled, but that's all theory, and the next time I'll ride that same test route under the same conditions, and you and I will find out how things went.